The Philippines is no longer China's top banana supplier. Vietnam has grabbed the top spot for the first time in 2 decades. Throughout the years, Vietnam has been eroding the Philippines' share in China's banana market, which imports about 1.8 million metric tons of the fruit annually. International Trade Center data showed that last year, China imported a record high of 166,000 metric tons of bananas from Vietnam, while its purchase from the Philippines only stood at 463 and 306,000 metric tons. The Filipino Banana Growers and Exporters Association said the rising geopolitical tensions in the West Philippine Sea have impacted banana exports, with China further cutting back on its purchases. Aside from losing to Vietnam in the Chinese market, the Philippines is also losing a substantial share in the South Korean market. This was also confirmed by industry players recently citing mounting competition from Latin America and Asian banana growers.
Joining us tonight to talk about this development, among other agri-related issues, we have former Agriculture Undersecretary Fermin Adriano. Undersecretary, good evening and welcome to The Big Story. Can you hear us okay? Hello, Yusek, naka-mute po yata kayo.
Yeah.
Ayun.
Good evening also to you ladies.
Good evening.
And good evening also to your audience.
I think you heard our report about, well, it wasn't our report, it was the report of PBJ, sounding the alarm na parang humihina ang ating banana exports. What would be your reaction to this? Was this something you saw coming, or is it a surprise?
Yeah, it was expected as early as about 2017 or 2018. We knew that it's just a matter of time before the so-called, in the former Indochina countries will overtake us in banana production, because during that time there was a Transrail project that was being constructed by China, coming from China, passing through Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, going through Thailand and ending in Vietnam. That means that any agricultural products transported through those trains will cost cheaper than if you're going to ship it. The other factor was we were hit hard by the so-called Panama disease among our manchitap or Fusarium wilt. It's a kind of virus that kills the banana plant, and therefore a lot of our banana plantations, particularly the small ones, the small banana growers, were hit hard by this Fusarium wilt or Panama disease. The small ones were susceptible to this because they could not afford the cost of the biosafety or biosecurity measures. So yung two factors na yun, alam na natin noon pa na mangyayari yan.
Pero ito yung next question doon, no, Yusek. Was there something that we could have done? Because like you said, you could see this since 2017. That was 8 years ago. Was there something we could have done to stymie this? The disease notwithstanding. Because kukunti na nga lang yung agri-exports natin. I know bananas hold a special place in this country's heart as one of its top fruit exports na high value.
Yeah. There are only 3 agricultural commodities which reach about more than $200 million of exports. And that's basically coconut oil, second banana, and pineapple. Unlike other countries like Vietnam, they have more than 10, or Thailand about 15 or something like that. That could have been prevented if we undertake measures already on research and investment in really fighting or preventing the outbreak of this Panama disease or Fusarium wilt. There should have been heavy investment already done there. The second factor is really the cost of the biosafety. Unfortunately, because of the agrarian reform program, we could not easily consolidate the farms into consolidated areas, and that's the reason why kanya-kanya sila in terms of, just like what happened to our swine industry, because their backyard they could not afford biosafety measures. They do not adopt biosafety measures. So, it did not prevent the outbreak of Fusarium wilt, and or in the case of the swine, the ASF. So yun may problema talaga tayo dun sa prolonged implementation ng agrarian reform because it resulted, although it achieved the issue of equity
Distribution.
or social equity, it resulted in farm sizes which do not enjoy economies of scale. And therefore, there's difficulty in applying modern farm technologies. How could you apply it in 1 hectare or 2 hectares of banana farms? You have to have hundreds and thousands of hectares to be able to apply the modern technology like drone technology, satellite, or whatever. So ganun talaga eh.
So ano pong
I think
pwedeng, what
yeah.
can be done? Kung sabi niyong walang economies of scale, anong solusyon po doon?
The government should really encourage, and we've been trying to say that we need farm clustering, encourage farm clustering. It does not necessarily mean consolidation of land ownership. It is just consolidation for purposes of production.
Like a
instead of
cooperative?
each farmer doing his own thing, consolidate them, organize them, so that you can tell them this is the way we're going to schedule production, you will plant now, etc. And then this is the way we're going to provide the necessary support services. Unlike now,
But who takes
halos
the
individual
lead?
ang
Yun nga,
bibigyan
di ba
eh.
parang kooperatiba na yan?
That's a real problem.
Oo, Yusek, di ba? That's why we have cooperatives, right? But yun nga eh, who takes the lead? And the
Yes.
other issue is kung meron nga nagtitake ng lead, minsan naman sasabihin nila, kumbaga abusive, yung person taking the lead, ginagamit lang sila, nadedehado yung mga farmers natin. I mean, was agrarian reform like a good intention, but the execution was not as great as we thought it would be?
It's true. Unfortunately, if you look at the history of cooperative in the country, sad to say, it's a history of failure since the time of Pacomas in the 1950s. The problem is that it's not just enough to say, okay, farmers will have cooperatives, or what they did in the past, that cooperatives, you form cooperatives, you force the organization of cooperatives because on the basis of that, you will get access to credit or support services. That's not the way to form cooperatives. That means it will require a lot of community organizing,
Correct.
particularly at the local level. That strategy of dangling an incentive, okay, mag-cooperative kayo so that you can access credit, does not work. It requires a lot of community organizing, continued training of the farmers, continued engagement with them, extension of new knowledge. And the thing is that, unfortunately, we don't have extension workers at the national level. They are large now because of devolution at the local government. That means that that kind of extension work should have been actively done by LGUs. Nagkaroon ng it was broken. That command structure was broken because of the devolution. Unfortunately, a lot of LGUs do not prioritize, organizing of the farmers or providing extension or trading capability for our farmers. Unlike what we're seeing in Vietnam or in China before, or right now, sorry.